And somehow this card, Vanity's Emptiness, this one, was legal in the OCG and it went to 0. So Emptiness is banned in the TCG and has been for a long time, but I'll say right off the bat, I'm very glad to see Emptiness gone finally in their format. But we'll talk about the two main offenders really quick, which are Toad and Hulk. So in the Splight deck specifically, like what you would do, your end board was typically ending on the Splight Elf, the Link 2, which could prevent anything it pointed to from being targeted. And you'd end on a Toad and potentially another like negate and another interruption through Splight Smashers, and whatever other like Splight extender you had. So you could end on a couple like 2 to 3 interruptions easily just by itself. Because this deck also played frogs, because Swap Frog and all the other frogs happen to be level 2. And the rank 2 Xyz for Splight, Gigantic Splight, can summon any level 2 out of the deck for free. So you'd end on a Toad, and then Toad would send itself to negate something, and Toad would then recur like a Swap Frog back to hand, for example. And then the instant your opponent summoned a monster, Splight Elf would have another effect where you could. So it was a quick effect during the main phase. You could reborn a level 2 monster, but if your opponent controlled a monster, you could also reborn any rank or link 2 as well. So the instant your opponent summons a monster, you would reborn the Toad and then get another negation, because Toad is not a hard once per turn. So this card was really, really crazy. And it's in a sense, it's kind of a scapegoat for what Splight does, but it's honestly like a big part of what made that deck so powerful. So it being gone is kind of a good thing. It takes away like a really key part of what Splight did to end on a board. And Hulk is also a part of this too. So there's been a really big debate on, should Hulk get banned? Like, is Hulk better than the cards it enables? Stuff like that. Like, people have had this discussion in the TCG right before Auroradon got banned. But in the OCG, another thing Splight would do is another set of cards they'd play like a Deep Sea Diva package. So you go like summon Diva, summon another Diva from deck, and then you could make Hulk, and you could summon like another hand trap from your deck. So like an Ash Blossom or a Ghost Ogre, an Effect Veiler, right? Because they're all tuners. They're all level 3 or lower tuners. So you'd summon any one of those. And then if you had any level 2 extender in your hand, you'd summon that. And then because Gigantic Splight says you can use Link 2 monsters as material for its Xyz summon, you'd use Hulk and the level 2 extender that you used to make Gigantic Splight, and then Gigantic Splight would summon Swap Frog out of your deck. So, and then Swap Frog could use its effect to return the hand trap that you summoned off of Hulk back to your hand. And you just like do your normal combo and have a free hand trap. Likewise, you could also similarly search Maxi in this deck too, but it basically requires you to open Swap Frog plus your combo. So it's a little different. But if because I'll go through that combo too, I guess, where you normally your Swap Frog, and if you put 2 other level 2s on board, you would make your Gigantic Splight again, but Swap Frog would still be on the field. So you could use Gigantic Splight to summon Max C out of your deck, since Max C is shocker, it's a level 2 monster. And then Swap Frog would affect bounce Max C back. So yeah, some of these cards are they're a little good. So like that interaction still exists, but like Hulk being able to summon any tuner out of your deck is no longer a thing in the OCG. I imagine there's going to be certain tuners that come back over there, because I think they have Glow Up Bulb banned over there still. I know that like O-Lion isn't banned though, there. Like we have, like it's banned for us. Um, but I imagine global could pretty easily come back now this is gone. But that didn't happen this list. Kind of spoiler alert. Um, so yeah, it's a pretty big hit to Splight overall, and I'm gonna say that like Splight will probably have a significantly reduced impact unless the new support that they're likely to get in Darkwing Blast, which is the next core set over in the OCG, unless it introduces some like really key support for that deck that makes it so like Toad's ban didn't really matter. But I sort of doubt it. um and emptiness being banned, I think, is specifically due to like MathMech, because MathMech did a comp, or not MathMech, but Adagnister, because Adagnister is in the OCG able to do a combo where they make Prime MathMech Alambertian, which is a rank 4 that like if you have 4 materials on it, you can just detach 4 materials and search any trap card from your deck to your hand. So they do a combo that gave you a free emptiness alongside a like unbeatable towers. So it's kind of just like good luck with that. um, I think that's why this card got banned specifically. But we're gonna go ahead and scroll down the list. We'll go ahead and talk about these limited cards here. So Eva went to 1. In the TCG, this card is banned, and it is banned for good reason. In the OCG, like OCG is weird because like Drytron's not very dominant there. I think partially because of Maxi, but like Drytron is still it's such a strong deck, and even with 1 Eva, it really doesn't matter. It just it reduces how easily you get to like so many negates with Herald. And it does take the power level down a little bit, but not really by that much. But that being said, like Drytron hasn't really been a thing in the OCG, so it has been a thing, just not dominant, like I said. So this hit feels irrelevant to me. Like if you were gonna do something about it, you'd ban it. But uh, I mean, it is what it is, I guess. Like OCG is very weird about things, and this middle card here. People that don't know, this is Spellbook of Judgment. This was one of the cards that was really quick to get banned. Um, let me go ahead and pull up what it does. Let's go ahead and look up Spellbook of Judgment. I'll tell you exactly what this card does. So, Spellbook of Judgment says it's a quick play spell. It says during the end phase of the turn, this card is activated. You add spellbook cards from your deck to your hand, except Judgment, up to the number of spell cards activated after you resolved it. Then you can special summon from your deck a spellcaster type monster whose level is less than or equal to the number of cards you added by this effect. So the spell books have they have a lot of interesting spell cards. Between like Spellbook of Secrets, which adds any spellbook card, Spellbook of Knowledge, which you could send a spellbook or a spellcaster from hand or field to the grave to draw 2 cards. And then Spellbook of the Master, I think, is the one that copies effects. They have a whole like wide variety of effects. They also have one called Spellbook of Fate, where you banished spellbook cards from your graveyard to apply different effects, like booking a monster, making something unaffected by card effects, or like just banishing something like non-targeting. I believe it was non-targeting. So the idea with this card is that because you naturally activate a ton of spellbook cards like during your turn, right? So you're activating a ton of spellbook cards, and then in the end phase, you get to add a bunch more, so you have a ton of follow-up next turn. And then you get to summon a card called Jaugen the Spiritualist for free, which says that neither player can special summon, and then you could like randomly toss a coin on your turn to blow up all special summon monsters on the field. So this card was really scary when it came out. This came out in like 2013, and I don't know what OCG was like smoking when they released it, but it was it made spellbooks into a deck that could legitimately compete with Dragon Rulers at the time, because Judgment came out in the same set as all the Dragon Ruler cards did, and man, yeah, Judgment is something else. But in this format, like in if like this card coming back doesn't really spell good things for me in terms of like how the game is. Like if OCG thinks that this card is fine to come back, not that spellbooks will do a lot, but this is like the fact that a card like this is fine is just scary, because you could potentially, you're just gonna get to add like 5+ cards most likely for free, and then you get to summon a Jowgen and protect it with Spellbook of Fate by banishing any monster that they try to run over with it. So I'm not into that. And then they also, moving on to this card, Branded Opening. They limited this card from, this was at 2. It went to 2 on the last list in the OCG. It's gone to 1. I don't. This isn't really relevant to me, and like Branded Despia was already pretty much on its way out naturally, because like Splight and Tier Element basically power creeped it. So I feel like this was always like the wrong card to hit, but it is what it is, I guess. They made this decision, so OCG lives with it, I guess. And then the cards that went to 2. I have another 3 cards here. So you have Gen X Ally Birdman. This has been at 1 for ages. It's gone to 2 now. I'll look up what this card does. This is also a fairly old card. So let's look up Birdman. So Birdman says you can return one face-up monster you control to hand, special it, but you banish it when it leaves the field. And it also gains 500 if the return monster was wind on the field. There were like certain combos that you could do with this card, especially with like Divine Wind and Mist Valley, that were pretty degenerate because this card isn't once per turn. But it's really not a relevant card anymore in any stretch of the imagination. It probably could have come to 2 a while ago, /3. I don't think there's really going to be any loops that happen with a card like this, but you never really know. I wouldn't really expect this to do anything, though. And then you have Flunderies and the Magnificent Map. This card went from 3 to 2. OCG really likes its semi-limited list. It's not something I'm into, and TCG started to like it too when they normally didn't. I'm not into that either. But like Magnificent Map is a really strong card, because it's one of the cards that just like lets you play on your opponent's turn and just do like everything you would ever possibly want. Between like summoning Ryza to bounce back a normal summon that might threaten your bearer statue, or putting up like an Apex Avion or what have you. Like the card, and it also like provides consistency because you just get to reveal a Flunder, and then banish one from the deck, and then you immediately normal summon a monster. So it could get you to Robina if you didn't have it, basically. It's another way to get there. So this card's crazy strong, but semi-limiting it doesn't really do anything. And then this is the card that should have been hit in the Branded Despia deck. And this should have always been the target, was Branded Fusion. This card is oh man, it is crazy strong. That being said, Branded Despia has been pretty much on its way out of the meta for the most part. It's not really that great. So, and semi-limiting this doesn't really do a whole lot, but yeah, Branded Fusion is still a really strong card, and it's worth hitting, because fusing from deck is incredibly strong. And like once you summon like Lubellion doesn't really limit you on what monsters you're fusion summoning, so it lets you fusion summon some really dumb stuff. So yeah, this is definitely a card that I'm glad they're hitting it. It's just, I don't know what it does. What is it going to do realistically? And then we can talk about all these cards that went back to 3. Um, so first one you have here is Orcust Harpor. Um, Harpor it went to 2 on their last list. It's on 3 on at 3 on this one. So in context, in the TCG, Harpor is banned here. Um, but we still have all the other Orcust cards at 3. Whereas in the OCG, they have Girsu limited, but more importantly, they have Galatea limited. And limiting Galatea is what really kills the grind game in that deck, because you just don't get to like put out more spell and trap cards through Galatea's effect. So you don't get to like follow up with like a crescendo or what have you. So this doesn't make a difference anyway. Like Orcust isn't that strong anymore. Orcust could be a full power in the OCG and make 0 difference. But it's good to see this card come off. Same thing with harmonizing. Like Pendulum's not doing anything. It steals a random top here and there because OCG still has Electromite. But this card, yeah, harmonizing is fine. Like it's perfectly okay. Lone Fire coming back to 3 is cool. Again, it doesn't really impact a lot, but card strong. Summoning plants from the deck is pretty nice. It's just not really going to do anything in the format. Trish is a card that came back to 3 in the TCG in this past list. It's back to 3 in the OCG now as well. People would get concerned about like hand loops with this card, but honestly, I don't think it really does much of anything. The hand loops like nowadays are too hard to get through, and it also like it's fairly fragile too. So like Trish to 3 doesn't really do anything. It didn't do anything for us. It's not going to do anything for OCG either. Same thing with Raigeki. Like Lightning Storm is pretty much just better for the most part. So like Raigeki coming back to 3 is pretty interesting, but the fact that a card like this came back to 3 is going to seem a little really weird for some old school players. So it is what it is on that one. And Define Wind of Mist Valley is random, I think. I think it's been at 1 in the OCG for a really long time. I think we got it back to 3 in the TCG like a long time ago. But yeah, without Ancient Fairy Dragon, like this card's really not going to do anything at all. So Night Assailant got errated. Nobody cares about it. Can't target any other copies of itself, so no infinite discard fodder. This like we put it to 3 recently. Card has errata. It's totally fine. Thunder Dragon Roar is fine. OCG has a Colossus. We don't have it, but yeah, Thunder Dragon's not relevant to begin with. If you've played Master Duel, you know that. Wind Up Carriers and Mighty. So in the TCG, we still have this card banned. We have Wind Up Hunter legal. Whereas in the OCG, Hunter is banned and Zamighty came back. But I mean, like Wind Up is really fragile now. Like even if you had Hunter legal, like the Wind Up hand loop just wouldn't go off nearly as often as you think it would. So you could honestly probably put them both back to 3 and this would do nothing. The beginning of the end, this was like a relic of when Danger Dark World was a really good deck in the OCG, because they would abuse this card. Kind of like how in the TCG when we had the Danger Dark World FTK, we would abuse this too. So that way you could just deep draw through your entire deck, because you just get to draw like, I think it was like you banish like, I'll look it up. You banish some number and draw like a bunch of cards. And yeah, if you have 7 or more darks, you banish 5 and draw 3. Yeah, this card is like it's so specific that it would never come up. So and then last one's Emergence. They put it to 2 on the last list for some reason, and then they put it back to 3 because Sword Soul was just not doing anything to begin with. So This is totally fine. Like Sword Soul is like it's oddly fair, kind of like how it's like how Tri Brigade was when that deck was relevant. It didn't do things that seemed unfair. It just like it did enough and then had like hand traps to back up what it did because its combos were really low investment. So yeah, this is fine. So uh as far as like the outlook on the OCG format goes, so you might have noticed, but there's no real hits to Tier Element because Tier Element shifted away from playing the branded fusion package once the Ishizu cards came out. And the Ishizu cards make that deck like super powerful, enough to pretty much like potentially dethrone full power Splight, or not dethrone it, but like take it down a significant peg. So that deck is pretty much uncontested at this point, and is likely to be like the most dominant deck for sure. Like Splight wasn't full on tier 0, but like if there's really nothing else that can truly contest tier element, then it could very easily be a tier 0 deck. I guess it just depends on whether or not like Exosister could actually do something to it. But Exosister requires 2 cards to do a combo, and it's super fragile too. So it's not like you can it's not like you could play Exosisters, even though they have a good matchup against tier element theoretically. But yeah, it's not enough. So there would have to be something in Darkwing Blast that can elevate some other deck to a level that could realistically be tier element. I just don't know what it is. I don't think it's going to happen. So let's see. Yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and we're going to go and switch over to Master Duel now. So let me really fast just go ahead and do that. Not actually have it on my desktop, but I'm gonna give you a full screen. So really quick. Okay. All right. So now that we're Master Duel, kind of gonna go ahead and jump into ranked really fast. That's gonna. My goal is I'm currently in gold 5. I want to either make gold 1 or plat 5 this stream. That'd be ideal. We'll kind of see how it goes. So go ahead and claim our gems. So let's go ahead and hop into ranked. So I've been playing Sword Soul Tiny on ranked, and I mean, in silver it's been mostly fine. So this is arguably like the best deck in Master Duel right now. So we'll go ahead and hop in. Losing die rolls. What a great way to start. And of course we're going second. Yeah, I seem to draw like Ecclesia and Ashuna like it's my job. Because the 10Es like conflict with Ecclesia. But like they're such good cards that you have to play them both. So. Wait, what? What happened? I'm so confused. Alright. So. Interesting. I don't know how I feel about this. Let's go ahead. Yeah, we'll go ahead and summon the... Yeah, we'll go and summon Mo Yi. And we'll go ahead and reveal Ashina. I was really hoping he'd summon a monster, but he didn't do that. I was very confused by that. So go chain 1 Chi-Xiao. Let's chain 2 Mo Yi to protect the Chi-Xiao from like an Ash or something. Okay, so we got an Ecclesia. Let's go ahead and grab Long Huan. And we'll go ahead and activate the effect. And we will pitch the Ashina. And summon our token to the field. So... summon the Baron. And not in an anima zone, ideally. Go ahead and burn for 12. Let's go to main 2. Set our back row. We'll set the called by as well. And we will end there. Let's see. He lived for a turn. And not activating Baron. Let's see what he does, if he does anything. I'm gonna be so confused if he like just passes turn again. Like, I hope he didn't just brick that hard. Please, like, I want you to play something, at least. Oh my god, no. What? Why? I don't get it. That just feels bad, man. That's not a good way to start. I don't like that. That's no fun. Like, come on. Let's go ahead and queue up again and see where we get. Look at me losing all the die rolls in the universe. Okay, I like this. This is a nice hand. I'll take it. On the other hand, I'm playing the mirror match. Oh, that is a pretty Mo Yi. I would have dusted it, but that is a pretty Mo Yi. Has an Ashina in hand. All right. Yeah, I mean, I assume he's gonna go for long one if he doesn't already have it. Oh, interesting. He went for Tai. All right. Oh yeah, he definitely already had long one. All right, that's fair. Now, just hopefully he doesn't set blackout. That would suck. Because he has, yeah, okay. Oh boy. Now I get to deal DP too. This is just awesome. Just incredible. Yeah, I don't know that I have extenders. We're gonna find out. Okay. So, Sthana. Okay. Non-effect is destroyed by battle or card effect. Banish, target one of those monsters, summon it, and then you can destroy a monster your opponent controls. Okay. So, let's go ahead. Let's see. We'll go ahead and activate Sthana's effect. Oh, that was... Wow, I made it out the DP so fast. Okay, sure. Let's go ahead and... Go ahead and activate Emergence then. Let's see... So, yeah, we'll go ahead and add. Yeah, we'll go ahead and add Taie. So, let's go ahead and activate the effective at Hara. Summon Monk. Battle card effects. Okay, yeah. So go ahead. I want to bait out. Yeah, that's completely fine. Okay. So I'm gonna reach Shaman really fast. Except for Tennies. Okay, yeah, I don't want that quite yet. So... yeah, let's go ahead and enter battle then. Go ahead and trigger Sthana. Yeah, because I think he pretty much has to negate this or he loses Baron, like, outright. Oh, all right. Yeah, I'm gonna destroy Baron. So we'll go to main 2. I'm gonna go ahead and activate Long 1 and pitch Taion. Summon token. Go ahead and summon Baxia. Summon Baxia in defense. So we'll go ahead and trigger Baxia 1 and shuffle back the Chi Xiao. I'm not going to select another card and trigger Taion. So we're going to go ahead and send the Mo Yi to grave. Let's go ahead and activate Baxia. Destroy the monk. Summon the Mo Yi. Activate Mo Yi effect. Reveal Protos. And summon the token. And then we'll make Chi Xiao.